So a little bit of background about me. I started Loyola University in 2006, fully intent on becoming a doctor. I was taking bio classes, chem classes, so I was in the pre-med program. In 2010, I graduated with my degree in finance and economics. Once I graduated, I got a job working at UPS in their wealth management division. I got some awesome business experience. I met some really cool people. But I felt like my job, my day-to-day job, wasn't very fulfilling. I didn't like what I was doing, and I felt like I was in a dead-end role. So I spent a lot of time filling out job applications, one after the other, until eventually I quit and decided that I'm going to launch my own company. What FunderHunt is, it's a community-based crowdfunding platform to fundraise for local small businesses and nonprofits. It's something that we felt passionately about. And I discovered that I personally love the process of building out the wireframes, designing the pages, and coming up with a user experience flow from start to finish. I was the person in charge of talking to our third-party development team. So as much as I liked doing this, I realized that I had no idea how to do this. I didn't know how to code, none of us know how to code, and believe it or not, that comes in handy when running a web-based startup. So I decided that I should learn how to code. In true programmer fashion, I started Googling for answers. And I found RubyMonk, Codecademy, 1 Month Rails, shelled out Cache, gave them a shot, and while they're great programs at learning the syntax, learning how to create a method, I had no idea where to put my code. I had no idea how to connect it to the front end, how to connect it to a database. I wasn't getting the 3D picture that I needed to build a successful company. I was also less than 2 weeks away from finishing up my grad school applications. I was applying to several schools. I had taken the GMAT, I was finishing up my essays, and then completely by chance, I met Mike, who told me about this school he's starting that teaches you Ruby on Rails, backend, databases, and how to launch a company. If that wasn't a sign, I don't know what is. So, what problem was I solving? I realized that when I was going out, I was eating too much of this and not enough of that. When I was trying to eat healthy, I found that I would go on Google, first find places that are near me, look at their nutritional data, and then compare each place to find a healthy meal that is A, healthy, and B, I actually want to eat. This was a long and daunting process that I wanted to fix. Apparently, 76% of adults feel the same way and eat healthier if it was easier to get that information. So I started working on no guilt. So I basically took the process that I was doing before, where you look at your location, how many calories I want to consume maximum that meal, and what I feel like eating. I combined those steps into one single step. So like I said, you put in your location, how many calories you want to consume, and then what you feel like eating. And it pulls up every item, every single food item near you that meets your specific criteria and shows you how far away from you that specific item is located. I took all those steps and I combined them into a 30-second process. I ran into a little problem though, in that there's over 8,600 fast casual restaurants in Chicago alone. I started crawling data from websites. I started pulling the data from individual websites one at a time. I even used nutrition-based APIs to get that data. But unfortunately, I could not get the level of data that I needed to make this app useful. So good thing we're agile, because I had to start from the beginning. And I thought back to when I was applying to all those jobs at UPS, and I thought, you know what, this process is absolutely terrible. What if I can fix this process for both the applicant and for the small business? So I started building Honeybee, a better applicant tracking tool specifically designed for small businesses. You get all your job openings in one place, know who's applied to each job with a quick glance, and view all candidate data also at one quick glance, and make one-click decision-making. So what were the benefits for small businesses for using my app? First of all, you prevent great applicants from falling through the cracks. Small businesses don't have the luxury that big businesses have, in that every single applicant counts. Every single applicant that applies to your company can make a huge difference in the growth and development of your business. This is a luxury that big companies have that small companies do not. Don't hurt your company reputation by ignoring candidates. Obviously, this isn't something that's done maliciously by a lot of businesses. However, studies have shown that companies that ignore candidates are far more likely to have people say negative things about them on social media than companies who actually send a rejection letter. So again, it's better to reject them than to ignore them. And lastly, I want them to fill new jobs faster than their competition. Because the guy who's using email and spreadsheets is going to lose out to the one who's using a better applicant tracking tool. I wanted the application process for HR to go from this to this. So in the process, what have I learned? You need to have a good process when building web applications. I came in thinking that first you have to build out the back end, then the front end, and then you can shove your content somewhere into the page. That is not how you do it. First you have to know what you want to say, design for it, and then hook up the back end. This took a while to figure out, but that's how you go about developing a good process. Design is about words. So again, you have to know exactly what you want your audience to think, what you want them to do. What message do you want to convey? Know that first, and then build out the front end and the back end. I learned how design, UI, UX, code, user experience, and selling all intersect, which is something that I was unable to get using the tools that I've tried online. I learned that ugly is part of the process. I remember in my second week, I was building out this nice little button that had, I was picking out the colors and the fonts and the rounded corners, and Neil goes up to me and says, "Alan, what does this button do? Where does it go to?" And I had no idea, but it was a really pretty button. So, and that is okay. So what's next? I'm looking to work with a Chicago-based startup doing front-end or back-end development. So if you have a project in mind, I would absolutely love to chat with you. So let's grab a coffee. Or some whiskey. Thank you.